Hi, Dr. Zwerner. Thank you so much for speaking with me today. It's nice to see you again.
Hi, Kingsley. Good to see you also.
So now that we're starting to see hospitals and health systems begin to return to normal operations, I just wanted to check in with you to see how things were progressing in the ambulatory space. Last time we spoke, we discussed this rapid transformation of the telehealth platforms. How did that pan out, and what was the impact on ambulatory's ability to meet patients' needs during this time?
It's been very interesting to witness the whole rollout, which has been dramatic and rapid and very successful. We're up to nearly 100% of the volumes we were pre-COVID, which is remarkable. That's a combination of both in-person visits as well as all the telehealth platforms, which mostly is video visits. That being said, we're trying to adapt to what that new normal looks like from an operational standpoint. How do we staff, again, working on the roles, given all the different specialties, trying to understand the workflow, trying to understand what our space utilization needs are in this new environment. We had closed down nearly 40% of our ambulatory space during the initial COVID due to the decreased volumes. And now as of next week, we'll probably be back to near 100% as we weave our providers back into those outreach clinics that we had consolidated. But doing that is no small task in the new order because we're very sensitive to our patient safety and our staff safety, which involves social distancing. And we have to have new ways to keep patients apart. We can't have our old crowded waiting rooms with everyone reading 3-year-old Parade magazine side by side. So we're doing novel things like having people stay in their car, and then paging them when we're ready. We've spread out and removed furniture. So like many places, including restaurants, people are far apart. We have a formal mask policy now for all our staff and patients. We're also working on some very elaborate screening processes so that through a screening at the time of scheduling their appointment as well as when they register. And we're actually looking at some new technology that could automate that for us and push out screening to the patient before they come in so they can fill out questionnaires and be triaged appropriately. So it's kind of exciting to be reinventing a whole new workflow, but it's not without some headaches for sure.
So it sounds like you have a lot going on, a lot of great stuff. Figuring out what this new model looks like is no easy feat. How are you making those decisions, understanding that some services can still be provided via virtual platforms and some really need to be in person? How are you bringing together all those stakeholder groups to make those decisions moving forward?
Yes, it is a challenge trying to find the right balance. And it varies from provider to provider, specialty to specialty, location to location. So we're working in each area trying to map out what those platforms look like. And there are really three sort of focuses that could take place. There's providers that actually may see all in-person visits, either due to their specialty needs or for other reasons. There are providers that will continue to see, if not all, almost entirely telehealth. And then there'll be providers that stagger telehealth among in-person visits, which has a lot of advantages in terms of decreasing the volume in the waiting room and also provides some efficiency. You know, what we find is a patient that's at home having a cup of coffee, reading the newspaper, doesn't really care if you see them at 9 or 9:25 or 10 to 10. They haven't driven, they're not aggravated, they're not going anywhere. And so there's a tremendous amount of flexibility. And so in my clinic, if I have a in-person no-show, which used to be a bit inefficient before, I can call up my next telehealth, and almost always they're more than happy to talk a little early. So it does provide flexibility, which is going to be critical going forward.
Yeah, I think there's such an opportunity to kind of shift our thinking of how we have traditionally delivered ambulatory care. To your point, there's efficiencies. There might need to be some different staffing models, resource needs. So it's interesting to see how each organization is really addressing this challenge head on and making the changes for this future model of how we're going to be delivering and experiencing ambulatory care. So as you're working through this, any lessons learned, any predictions for what the future may hold?
Well, again, I think we have to be flexible. The other thing I'm trying to emphasize is this could wax and wane. And so we may have more and less telehealth during periods going forward in the fall. So we can't build ironclad situations. We have to have modular furniture that can be moved. We have to have modular mindsets that can be moved. And we're going to have to use more and more technology and automation in the process in terms of patient notification and many other aspects of the workflow, so that those automated functions can be changed and switched very easily across thousands of platforms overnight, rather than the calling on the telephone and mailing things and all that. So flexibility is the key going forward for sure. We're not done. We haven't finished morphing.
Well, I think that's the exciting part about this time, is things are going to continue to evolve. So I thank you so much for the quick update, and we look forward to keeping in touch with you as we continue to see these changes across the healthcare industry.
And I'm sure the next time we talk, it'll be a whole new landscape to discuss. So great. Thanks for checking in, and hopefully I'll talk to you soon.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Zwerner.